Blockchain is changing the world. You guys, I'm telling you, blockchain is going to change the world. Do you guys remember in like high school, in college, when you were doing research or you were working on a particular project? Maybe it was a science project for biology, for whatever science class, physics, maybe. Do you remember when you used to access these scientific journals in school, like whether high school or college? You used to be able to access these scientific journals and gain access to thousands or millions of different scientific publications that doctors, PhDs, whatever, have published across the world, across the internet, in different scientific journals and whatnot. And if you remember those journals that you would access in college and high school and whatnot, you probably remember that most of those journals were paid journals. You couldn't necessarily just tap into any scientific journal you wanted to for free, but if you went to a university, for example, they typically foot the bill for these scientific journals to allow you to gain access and read these scientific papers that were being produced and published, right? So if you just go to Google and you check out science journals, you're going to see a whole host of different scientific journals and publications that you can access, right? There's science journals, AAAS, there are Omics International Science Journals, there's PLOS Science Journals. There are a number of different types of scientific journals. The problem is that most of these journals are paid, right? They cost money to access. And here's an example, right? I'm going to sciencemag.org, and here's a list of different journals and publications, scientific papers that are being published. If I go and try to actually click into one of these papers, you're going to notice it does give you the summary or the abstract of that particular scientific paper, but it does not give you the full scientific paper if you're doing some sort of research or if you want to read the actual study itself. When you click on full text, what's going to happen is it's going to go to kind of a similar page, and it's not going to give you access to the entire paper itself, right? Often you have to pay for these journals, and you have to pay a pretty large amount of money to access a lot of these journals, right? And that's why universities will typically, they'll typically foot the bill for students, so you have to log in here to actually gain access, right? You could buy a single issue for $15, or you can, buy a subscription as an example, right? So there's a variety of different types of scientific journals, and today what I want to talk about, guys, I want to talk about an ICO that is going to disrupt the scientific community in ways that we've never seen before. What I'm talking about, guys, is SciDex.co. It's a decentralized marketplace for scientific data. So what SciDex is trying to do, they're trying to democratize and really make the entire scientific journal space more accessible by basically rebuilding it onto the blockchain. They're trying to bring all scientific information, all scientific journals, studies, research papers, so forth and so on into the blockchain or onto the blockchain to democratize it and make it more freely accessible to those that may want to use and study those particular journals, right? Right now, you have to access these journals through different silos, right? Through different platforms. And there's essentially many different types of platforms and journals that you can access to get these scientific papers. The problem is that they're not all on one system. They're not all aggregated. They're not all efficiently kind of connected together to be able to, streamline and buy and sell and transmit and share this information with other people. So that's what SciDex is trying to accomplish, right? And it says, for the first time, billions of dollars worth of isolated scientific data will be traded, setting a new paradigm for advancements and collaboration in science, right? Right now, they're not running an ICO, but they are giving you early access to their platform here. If you want to, click on this early access button, and what you're going to get is this screen here. It's loading up here in just a second. So you could sign up as an individual, as a corporation, or as an institution, but basically what this is going to do is give you early access to the platform. It's going to give you, different access levels depending on what you're looking for, and it will inform you anytime there may be an ICO or anything else that comes up for this particular project that's being worked on, right? So let's dig into this just a little bit because I think it's worth noting. And I think it's also worth noting that on Telegram, these folks already have 15,508 folks joined on their Twitter account. They already have almost 13,000 people joined on their Twitter account. And what I'm really excited about here is that, not only with just SciDex, but in general, industry after industry after industry is being flattened. It's being democratized by blockchain, right? There are ICOs upon ICOs. They're all over the place that are literally taking existing industries and they're literally rebuilding them from scratch on the blockchain to flatten or to level the playing field and to democratize whatever space they are focusing on, right? And in this case, SciDex just happens to be focusing on the scientific community where they're trying to democratize the access of scientific information, right? Okay, so let's go through this a little bit. The first, decentralized marketplace, which enables, simplifies, and standardizes the exchange of scientific data, leveraging the power of blockchain, right? So they're going to create this unique, what they call market space or marketplace, where millions of data sets will be indexed and they will be exchangeable or transferable, tradable over the Ricardian adaptive smart contracts, or as they call it, right? So it'll essentially be tradable over blockchain in the form of Ricardian adaptive smart contracts. And if you want to learn what that is, let's read a little bit further, but it's essentially a new type of protocol, a new technology that's a specific format of smart contract, right? We'll dig into that a little bit more here in a second, right? They're building out a self-governed community, which is driven by the scientific data itself, by the experts engaging, by the exchange of information and the collaboration of information amongst these scientific peers, right? Grant and subsidy model, a unique community-driven fund built to empower data creation and accessibility, right? So they're going to try to help researchers and scientists get grants or get subsidized to do different research projects that they may be working on, right? Another opportunity, another business opportunity or business case for this project to really help kind of make the grant and subsidies model for scientific researchers much easier, much simpler, much more streamlined, give them access to more funds, more investors, so forth and so on. I think there's a big opportunity here to really help people, young researchers that are trying to make a name for themselves to get those grants, to get those subsidies that they need through the model that they're creating, right? Okay, so the SciDex Marketplace leverages blockchain technology, artificial intelligence, and natural language processing to enable scientific data exchange and cross-fertilization, right? So not only are they building this massive scientific index of information based on millions of data sets available and their price points, right? So if you want to access any of that data, it'll have a specific price point for whatever data it is you want to access, but it'll all be indexed within this SciDex Marketplace, right? SciDex will structure all of the millions of data sets into metadata templates and make it much more easy to access as a researcher, right? Then they will roll out something called SciSearch, which is going to be a powerful and self-learning natural language processing based search engine to help you navigate and index efficiently, right? So they're using AI and machine learning and natural language processing to create this search engine essentially for scientific information, right? So that's very, very cool in and of itself. You'll be able to search this vast decentralized database and access different scientific research, based on whatever language is in that research itself, right? Then they're going to offer the ability to exchange data, information, scientific research among the folks that participate in this ecosystem itself, right? SciDex's proprietary new Ricardian adaptive smart contracts ensure a safe exchange of data between entities, right? So they're going to enable smart contracts to allow people to agree on terms and price points and time use and so forth and so on for all the data, all the research that's going into SciDex, the platform that they're building out, right? All right, action calls. Market actors can either call for new data streams, data contribution, or request curation of their offered data sets by staking a determined amount of Sci tokens. So get this. This is a really interesting concept right here. So people that want data for a particular purpose, whether it's a business, an individual, a researcher, they could actually put a stake on this community and say, hey, we need data for X, Y, and Z. So we need somebody to generate these new data streams for us, and we will pay you a certain amount of money to provide those data sets and those data streams to us, right? Then a researcher or a data scientist or whoever wants to can go out and actually start curating that data, start getting that data and organizing that data in the SciDex Marketplace, and then make that data available to the folks that are asking for that data, right? It's just a very natural and easy way to exchange, request, and collaborate on scientific data. And I think that this project is going to really help transform the scientific community and really help streamline research that gets done, right? And it may even be possible that in time to come, this will be kind of the standard where people go to buy and sell scientific information, where they go to publish scientific information, where they validate it as legitimate scientific information. I could see all kinds of different things popping out of this platform, right? So let's look at Ricardian adaptive smart contracts really quick. It's a proprietary version of smart contracts, readable by man and machine, digitizing the business and legal rules as well as compliance of the right use of the data. So not only are they using smart contracts to make it easy to read by a machine or a man, but they're actually incorporating business and legal rules and compliance rules into the particular smart contract so that the data that's being shared and accessed is regulated in a smart way, right? And that's important because a lot of companies, a lot of researchers, they're nervous about letting their intellectual property go or letting their intellectual property go to the wrong hands. And so I think that this is going to be very, very important that these smart contracts can be acted upon in real time based on a peer-to-peer system like SciDex is going to implement, right? All right, so the SciDex community, you've already kind of heard about this a little bit. There will be a reward system baked into this system so that people can earn loyalty and rewards tokens, SciDex tokens for their efforts. There's going to be a voting system which enables folks to vote on the on how good basically some of the material is that's coming into this ecosystem, right? And there's going to be a ranking system like Amazon that lets you rank and vote on a particular set of research or data or whatever it may be so that others can see that as well and know if it's worth their time to buy or sell a particular data set, right? Okay, next. The SciDex grant and subsidy model, a best practice compliant community-driven fund, right? So this is a pretty interesting thing. So let's look at this. A unique grant model to provide the most promising startups proposing new and state-of-the-art data streams which could result in strong advancements in science with the support needed, right? So they're going to be offering a grant model that actually encourages and enables startups that want to create new data sets, that want to create new data streams. They're going to incentivize them by giving them grants, essentially, to go and do their projects. They're going to fund their projects for them, right? Which will be very, very interesting. It's kind of like a way of crowdfunding different types of scientific research, right? So very, very cool. And I think that has the ability to help propel the scientific community forward, right? They also have a subsidy model, right? So a subsidy model, it's more for institutions like a government or an educational facility like a university or a college, but they will offer subsidies to cover the cost of doing research in that particular institution, right? So they'll, again, provide kind of a funding model for different people that want, or different organizations that want to do scientific research but may not have the funds to do so, right? The whole thing, this whole project is being led by some MIT folks from MIT. Co-founded this, and here they are right here. You can check out their profiles here. It's a totally legitimate company, totally legitimate project. You can look at all these guys from MIT. Obviously, I love MIT. A lot of really smart people come out of MIT. A lot of good projects, technologies, software companies come out of MIT. So I think that's just good all in all, goes without saying. A lot of folks backing this, but it is still in the early days. And the encouraging thing on this for me is that they've already got a large community on Telegram, on Twitter. There's already tens of thousands of people that are interested in this platform. Now they're actually going to be building out the platform itself. If we look at the roadmap, I don't see anything here in relation to an ICO. However, it does talk about their platform and how they're going to be building out their platform and the timeframes for doing so, right? So I can see something popping up here. Oh, here we go. Q2 2018, we're going to see a SciDex pre-sale, right? So that's coming up very, very soon here. And then you're going to see, it just kind of escalate from there. So anyway, I hope you're interested. You should check out this white paper. Well-written, 39-page white paper on SciDex and their platform, the challenges, how they're going to build out their business model, and how they're going to actually do it. It breaks down all that in this white paper right here, all right? Having a little bit of a hard time loading. They're giving you, I mean, look what I said. They're from MIT, right? So if you're from MIT, you could help me translate this. I can't translate this. I'm not a mathematician, but I trust the math is correct. If not, I can go to Satoshi Nakamoto himself and ask him, right? Because he's got a bunch of degrees. He's a wheelbarrow of an academic, right? Anyway, okay, I'm Dan from CryptoCamacho.com. Hopefully you guys find this interesting. I think it's fascinating. I find SciDex to be a very fascinating project. I think there's a lot of potential there. I don't know what the price point would be if you want to get involved, but I wanted to make people aware of SciDex because, again, I think just industry after industry after industry is being disrupted by blockchain, by cryptocurrency. This is yet another example of that. and let me know what you think. Let me know if you're a scientist. Let me know if you would use something like this. And that's that. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, guys. That's all I ask. I don't ask for anything else in return. If you want to learn more about trading cryptocurrency, go to my website, cryptocamacho.com, which you see here in the background. But until next time, I'm Dan from cryptocamacho.com, and hopefully you enjoyed this video. See you guys.